1998 was just one of those years for video game fans. And for those of us that were alive during that time period, Metal Gear Solid, The Best Is Yet to Come, was one of those tracks that will be forever imprinted in my brain. It is quite possibly one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard. I'm so grateful for this game that paved the way for so much of my love for video games. And yeah, let's break this down, shall we? What I really love about how this starts is it's very, very elegant. It's very church-like. It's a silent, almost prayer to one's self. It's very intimate. It's all for you. And actually, I'm curious about the lyrics. So actually, it's in Gaelic. Ein coin him leat an grau gra gra kra croy an. Well, okay, I don't know Gaelic, but the English translation. Can you still remember when little things made you happy? And can you still remember when simple things made you smile? Life can be so simple if you can only see whatever happened to those days, whatever happened to those nights. Can you still remember when little things made you sad? And can you still remember when simple things made you sad? Is it just me, or is it just us feeling lost in this world? Why do we have to cause this pain? Why do we have to weep tears? Please tell me we're not alone in this world fighting the wind. Life can be simple if you only see the best is yet to come. And I didn't know those lyrics. And I think millennials, some of us that are now in our mid-30s, can relate to that in a deep way. A piece like this is really interesting because it makes us question what it means to become an adult, what it means to grow up, what it means to change. And I think that this piece is so sublimely beautiful because it's simple. It's a question. All of it is a question. Can you remember what made you happy? Can you remember what made you sad? And I think starting like this, there's such a twinge of melancholy and a twinge of sadness and a twinge of feeling lost and confused. And so many of us go about our days and we don't feel grounded and we don't feel safe and we don't feel protected. And we lose people we love and we lose friendships and animals that we care for and the things that ground us. And we're left with free falling in a way. And a piece like this, it can maybe ground us for a second and connect us to something that is maybe higher than us or deeper than us, or maybe it connects us to religious elements, or maybe it connects us to our souls more deeply, or maybe it reminds us of our youth, and so that tethers us. But even in the first 15 seconds, da, 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 da. And you hear how that asks a question. Da, 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 da. When it points up like that, typically that's a question. Da, 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 da. It's also not super rangy because it's supposed to be this intimate, almost conversation with oneself. Can you remember what makes you happy? Can you remember what makes you sad? So beautiful. Have you noticed that there's not been a single instrument besides the voice that has come into this track yet? And how incredibly effective and evocative an a cappella choir can be? Listen to how the harmonies interplay. Listen to how those mezzo-sopranos are in their counter harmony with that solo soprano. And how as one ascends, the other descends, how that causes a feeling of restlessness or peace, depending on the emotion that you feel while listening to it. It's supposed to evoke feelings of nostalgia and for feelings of a loss of innocence. The way that we're supported by those lower basses there and those lower male voices, that support is supposed to feel like an embrace. It's supposed to feel like we're protected. The counter melody is supposed to indicate that life changes, and yet we can still be who we are, regardless of change. Or that the only constant in life is change. It's incredibly effective. Listen to how supported that is. Also, take a look. There's no vibrato to be found, really. Maybe in the soprano soloist, but vibrato would actually get in the way of this. It would get in the way. It would rob it of that purity, that unified sense of arrival with those voices if there was too much movement, vibrato and airwise. But instead, I also love the support that we feel from the lower voices in this choir. They move in unison with the soprano soloist, but on different pitches that all aid in lending a hand and raising up that soprano. It's beautiful stuff. It's interesting to now get this flute out of seemingly nothing. We hear this percussion instrument. We hear the wind rustling, like something's rustling inside of us to emerge, and then we get the flute. And the flute is almost improvisatory. You could say that that's the soul crying out. That is a self-expression amplified by an instrument in this moment. It's incredibly beautiful. It's a wonderfully spiritual and almost religious experience in this track. The doubling of the voices, the aiding and the cascading of the choir in unison, often with the soprano in different pitches and harmonies. It causes such an immense feeling of contemplation on the state of living and what it means to exist and what it means to be. It's incredibly powerful. And also we get this oscillation between this flute and the soloist. And it almost feels like we're going hand in hand with our younger selves. You know, coming up soon, this will be the first time that people hear this music. And for you and I that have played Metal Gear Solid so many years ago, we finally get to see others who have never experienced this game for the first time dive into it. And I tell you, regardless of what's gone on with Konami and Kojima, I'm really excited about that. I'm excited for people to experience this story, to experience what I experienced in 1998. How old was I? 1998. That was 25 years ago. I was 10. This game, this moment of this completing this game and completing it over and over multiple different times was fundamental to my evolution as a person who played video games. It was a cornerstone of my life. At 10 years old, I was entranced by this game. So, yeah, what a fun one to listen to. If you like this, there's more on the channel. Feel free to check out other video game music reactions. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.